The Zephyrian armada stretched across the void like a constellation of death, their bioluminescent hulls pulsing with predatory intent. Admiral Kextar flexed his forearms in satisfaction as he surveyed the human colony world of Haven's Rest through the viewport of his flagship. The primitive mammals had been given their ultimatum 3 solar cycles ago: surrender their mining rights to the rare tritanium deposits, or face extinction. The humans had chosen silence. "They mock us with their quietude," hissed Commander Velmoth, her serpentine neck coiling in agitation. "Perhaps they think their pathetic defense satellites can protect them." Kextar's mandibles clicked in amusement. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered 47 species across 12 star systems. These bipedal creatures, barely 2 centuries into space travel, would be the 48th. Their technology was laughably primitive: fusion drives instead of quantum tunneling, kinetic weapons instead of plasma cannons, and their largest vessel was smaller than a Zephyrian frigate. "Begin the cleansing," Kextar commanded. The first wave of plasma fire erupted from the armada. 1,000 suns blooming simultaneously, the human orbital platforms dissolved like morning frost, their metal hulls vaporizing in seconds. Below, the colony's shields flickered and died under the sustained bombardment. Cities became craters, forests became ash. The ocean itself began to steam. Yet still the humans maintained their silence. No distress calls, no pleas for mercy, no desperate counterattacks from hidden bases. Just nothing. "Sir," reported the communications officer, his voice uncertain, "we're detecting no transmissions from the surface. No ships fleeing the system. It's as if they've simply accepted their fate." Kextar felt a chill run along his exoskeleton. In 47 previous conquests, there had always been resistance. The Altarians had fought until their last breath. The crystalline Vorthak had shattered their own worlds rather than surrender. Even the peaceful Melodians had sung their death songs as they perished. But the humans, they died in silence. "Perhaps they're in shock," suggested Velmoth, though her tone lacked conviction. "Their primitive minds unable to comprehend." The sensor officer's shrill alarm cut through her words. "Admiral!" Multiple contacts emerging from hyperspace. The tactical display exploded with red markers. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Then thousands. Human vessels materialized around the Zephyrian fleet like ghosts stepping into reality, their black hulls seeming to absorb light itself. But these weren't the crude ships the Zephyrians had catalogued. These were different, sleeker, alien in their very humanness. And they were everywhere. "Impossible," breathed Kextar. "Our intelligence indicated they possessed fewer than 200 vessels total." The human fleet hung in space with predatory stillness. No challenges, no warnings, no communications at all. They simply waited. Then as one they opened fire, but not with the primitive kinetic weapons the Zephyrians expected. Beams of pure nothingness carved through space, unmaking matter at the quantum level. Zephyrian shields, designed to deflect energy and absorb impacts, simply ceased to exist where the beams touched them. Entire dreadnoughts vanished in seconds, not destroyed but unmade, as if reality itself had forgotten they ever existed. "Return fire! All batteries!" Kextar screamed. The Zephyrian response was fierce but futile. Their plasma beams struck the human vessels and simply stopped. The energy didn't dissipate or reflect. It was absorbed into hull plating that seemed to drink in destruction, like a thirsting desert drinks rain. "Sir!" The sensor officer's voice cracked with panic. "The human ships, they're not showing up on deep scans. It's like they're not entirely here." Kextar understood then, with the terrible clarity of impending doom. The humans hadn't been silent because they were afraid or in shock. They had been silent because they were listening, learning, watching from wherever they truly were, dimensions beyond Zephyrian comprehension, as their enemies revealed every capability, every weakness, every tactical doctrine. The colony world had been bait. The humans had sacrificed their own people to gather intelligence, knowing that their hidden fleet could exact a price that made such sacrifice worthwhile. As another wave of unreality beams swept through his formation, unmanning ships that had survived battles across half the galaxy, Kextar finally understood why the humans maintained their terrible silence. When you're hunting gods, you don't announce your presence. The last thing Kextar saw before his flagship joined the growing void was a transmission from the lead human vessel. Not words, but images. Records from their own databases showing the other 47 species the Zephyrians had conquered. The humans hadn't just been watching the Zephyrians. They had been watching everyone, learning from every defeat, every extinction, every moment of suffering the Empire had inflicted. And now, in the silence between seconds, in the space between thoughts, humanity delivered its answer. Not with words, not with mercy, but with the absolute certainty that those who prey upon the innocent will eventually discover that somewhere in the darkness, something is hunting them in return. The Zephyrian Empire's reign of terror ended not with a bang but with silence, the same silence their victims had been forced into. And in that silence, the universe learned to fear the sound of human footsteps.